everybody, welcome to my channel. How is your day coming along? I hope you are good, so am I. So let's get started. I've created this video because I wanted you to know better about our considerable and significant people like physicians, architects, poets, firefighters, engineers, because they enriched our art and culture, they facilitated our life conditions, and they remind us why we came here, why we live here on earth. I'm tired of the fact that we pay a lot of attention to people who don't deserve it, like singers, actresses, some politicians, businessmen. Imagine they disappeared. Would we lose much? I don't think. And if you are on the same page as I am, sit back and enjoy the ride. Aleksander Sergeevich Pushkin wrote about him. Remarkable people vanish without leaving any marks about themselves, and we are lazy and incurious. He wrote about Griboedov, Aleksander Sergeevich. His life dates are 1795 and 1829. He was a brilliant diplomat, counsel, nobleman, a poet. He contributed much to the peace agreement between Prussia and Russia, and it concluded the Russo-Prussian War, which lasted from 1826 and 1828. And I could talk much about this treaty, but I think it would be enough if I said that this treaty obliged the Prussian government not to prevent returning home other people who had been rustled from Russian terrains many years ago. And Griboedov was also well known due to his poem A Well from Wheat, or The Well of Wheat, and everybody, each generation studies it at school, inevitably and constantly. But friends, let me show this personality from another point. Firstly, he was the author of other poems, 6 poems actually. Secondly, due to his education, he was an outstanding pianist and composer. Do you hear the sound? It's a waltz. He entered Moscow University when he was 11 and graduated it successfully, graduated the philological faculty 2 years later when he was 13. He was a polyglot. Due to his teachers, he spoke fluently in English, German, Italian, French, and later, autonomously, he acquired Turkish, Arab, and Persian. He was actually an autodidact because he did it without teachers. He set certain aims and achieved them because these languages were very important for him for his job. And he practiced listening, reading, speaking skills as often as possible. Friends, he is a role model for us. In 1826, he was arrested and charged of the participation in the revolt of Decembrists. As I mentioned in the video about Klobuchevsky, people aspired to have another form of the rule. They wanted the constitutional monarchy instead of traditional monarchy. And when the conspirators were seized and sentenced, some of them to death, some of them to exile, Griboedov applied to the Tsar, Nicholas I, to forgive them, and he also applied to other powerful officials to take pity on revolutionaries, but actually it didn't help significantly. Griboedov valued women's attention, and several times even he fell in love, but he felt that this kind of relations was a mistake, the wrong way. One day he visited his friend the Prince Chevchavadze, who had a daughter, and Griboedov was overwhelmed. Nina was 16, she was so amazing, delicate, high educated, that Griboedov lost his head. Before this meeting, he taught French lessons and music lessons to her, but then she turned into a magnificent swan, so elegant, so beautiful. He was 33, she was 16, and they got married in September in 1828. But their cloudless happiness lasted only 3 months. Griboedov was sent to Persia again to sort out some conflicts. He contributed to the release of Russian prisoners who were kept in the Persian captivity. He enslaved Armenians and Armenian women. Each caused big irritation of locals. Griboedov apprehended it, but the catastrophe finally broke out in February in 1829. The furious people attacked the Russian embassy. They rushed into the embassy, and these locals literally tore into pieces approximately 50 Cossacks, besides Griboedov. When I was reading about Griboedov's mission, I often caught myself thinking that he hadn't been satisfied with his job. He had never enjoyed this job, and his heart had demanded another life, something new for him. And it's reflected very well in his poem, Well of Wheat. I like to serve, but I hate to be a servant. Yes? Homes are new, superstitions are old. Moreover, documents, contemporaries, and friends confirm that he was stubborn, too daring, provocative. And that is why I suspect that the combination of these features became the harbinger of the disaster which happened to him later. Thank you for watching me. Read books, learn English, and take care. Bye.